on this computer. There we are. Okay. Now I am recording. Okay, Melissa. So we're going to start with reviewing what we did last class. Did you come last class or you didn't?
I wasn't in the last class. No.
You were not. Okay. Well, in the if you go to page, let's see, page 18 in your book.
Okay. Okay.
Hello, Ricardo.
Hello.
Okay.
Sorry,
so,
I was waiting for the email.
You were waiting for the email? Yeah,
Yeah,
this time I decided to do it with the Google Classroom, but it seems that you don't see Google Classroom. You just get into the mail. Do you know if the others are going to connect? Do you know any of the rest apart from Melissa? So tell them if you can that they have to go to Google Classroom, and in there they have the link. Okay. Yeah, I was telling Melissa that last class we were working with speaking here, and we did something or a conversation about if you are an extrovert or an introvert. Okay, what about you, Melissa? How do you consider yourself, an introvert or an extrovert?
It depends of the person.
Always it depends on, always
on the person.
On the person. Yeah. Why?
And it depends of the
it depends on okay.
On the topic.
Yeah.
That we are talking.
Yeah, but for example, when you go to a party or when you are with a group of people, do you like to talk or do you prefer to be quiet and silent? What is your option in that situation?
I prefer to talk, but I don't really talk a lot.
Yeah, okay. Because, for example, the other day we were doing this like poll here in which there were certain questions and most of us were extroverts. For example, I remember that Ricardo was an extrovert person, okay? There were certain questions, like, for example, do you feel uncomfortable speaking in front of groups of people? Are you afraid going to parties, or do you prefer online relationships instead of face-to-face relationships? In your case, for example, do you prefer online relationships or face-to-face relationships?
Me?
Yeah, because I know
yeah, face-to-face relationships.
Face-to-face relationships. Do you have a lot of friends or not?
No, not really.
Not really. What about you, Ricardo? Do you have lots of friends or you just have a few of them, like good friends?
I have many friends, but just a bunch of them are really close to me.
Yeah,
right. My small group of best friends.
Yeah. Okay, because sometimes now with this system of social networks and things like that, you have thousands of friends, but who are really your friends? Okay, sometimes, for example, when it is your birthday, you receive
for example
200 greetings, but it's not real. Yes, Ricardo, what were you going to say?
Yes, sorry, but the connection not good.
No, it's okay. For example, you said, for example, what?
For example, I'm not likely to open up to people who are not my closest friends.
Yeah. Okay.
So I have a small group of 5, no, less than that, 4 maybe friends that I told them my secrets or insecurities and things like that.
Yeah, okay. Allow your friends, because sometimes you don't socialize too much with the opposite sex. Are your friends men or women or both? Ricardo, did you get the question?
No, this was not
Your internet is
working.
lagging.
Yes.
I'm going to repeat the question for both of you. Sometimes when you are, when you have friends, sometimes you like to have friends of your own sex.
Yeah.
Okay. You can have, I don't know, boyfriend, girlfriend, but friends, sometimes usually you look for friends of the same sex. In your case, Ricardo, and in your case, Melissa, do you have friends who are from your same sex, opposite sex, or both?
Both.
Both, Melissa?
Both.
Yeah, both.
Yes.
Too? Yeah.
Both,
Why?
but my best friends are female friends.
Yeah, all right.
Women are better to I don't know, understand.
Yeah, okay. Maybe they listen to you. Okay? That's very important because when you have a friend, like you have a friend to tell things, to talk, and I would say that women sometimes are better listening. Are you a good listener, Melissa?
Yes.
Really?
I'm a good listener, yeah.
Okay, so when you have friends, do you listen to them or do you prefer to talk?
No, I prefer to listen.
You prefer to listen. All right.
Yes.
So you're a good friend then, because it's better when you have someone who can listen to you. All right. Because nowadays, I don't know if you have noticed that. Nowadays, people like to be listened, but they don't like to listen.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So that is not good because sometimes you want to talk and you talk and you talk, and the other person listens to you. But then when he wants to be listened or she wants to be listened, you insist on talking you. Okay, so it's kind of complicated. Are you a good listener, Ricardo?
Yes, but the connection is really bad. Sometimes the screen freezes.
Okay, me, because I can hear you well, both of you. Let's see, I'm going to try to move to another place, and then probably it's this part of the house, my house, that is not very good, or the signal is not very good. Let me move a little bit, okay? Let's see. I'm going to sit in here. This is my living room. Okay. Can you listen to me or not? Can you see me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So that's, I think that, yeah, that's something important when you listen and when you are able to listen to your friends, because I think that nowadays people don't like to listen very much. They prefer to be listened.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, right. So it's and I think that young people are like that. I mean, concerning the age, we old people were taught to listen more than to talk. Okay, in my house, for example, when I was a child, my father didn't allow us to interfere with the conversation of adults. So we were on the table, but we could just give little opinions, but not take part into the conversation. So because my father just look at us, okay? We were two brothers. So my father, if we were talking too much and they were adults, my father looked at us and then we knew that we couldn't continue, and we had to listen. So we were kind of, we didn't participate much in the conversation. But nowadays, kids, they are the center of the conversation. They like to talk, and then with television and all that stuff, so sometimes they like to talk much, but they don't like to listen. Okay, so it's a bad thing, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to do now the listening that we have in here with a multiple choice. On page 18, take a look at page 18, and it says, you will hear 3 different extracts for questions 1-6. Choose the answer A, B, or C, which fits best according to what you hear. There are 2 questions for each extract. Okay, so extract number 1. We're going to read it first, and then we're going to listen. So, Lisa, read please number 1, extract number 1, and the possibilities that you have. Read it, please, Melissa.
How did the book make the man feel? Unsure what makes him an introvert? Positive about his personality?
No.
No?
At the go down. Okay, go down.
Okay.
It says multiple choice part 1. Could you find that? Multiple
wait.
choice part 1, right? And then you have exercise 2. It says you will hear 3 different extracts for questions 1-6. Choose the answer A, B, or C, which fits best according to what you hear. There are 2 questions for each extract. Okay, now read extract 1, Melissa.
You hear 2 friends discussing a book about introverts. How did the book make the man feel? Unsure what makes him an introvert, positive about his personality, relieved that his behavior is normal.
Okay, so you're going to listen, and then you have to decide. So what is the audio? It says you hear 2 friends discussing a book about introverts. That is the topic, all right? And the question number 1 is, how did the book make the man feel? The man, yeah. A, unsure what makes him an introvert. B, positive about his personality, relieved that his behavior is normal. All right. Now, the second speaker, read that, please, Ricardo. Number 2.
Number 2.
Yes.
The speakers agree that the book contained too much detail.
Read the option. A. Yeah.
A contained too much detailed research. B was written in an academic style. C presented an unbalanced argument.
All right. Okay, so you're going to hear 2 people talking, and then you have to decide. The first man, how did he feel about the book? Okay. Unsure what makes him an introvert, positive about his personality, relieved that his behavior is normal. And the speaker 2, in the question 2, says, the speakers agree that the book A contained too much detailed research, B was written in an academic style, and C presented an unbalanced argument. Okay, so I'm going to share. Okay, wait a minute. Wait. Wait a minute. Here. Okay, I hope that it works. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, we're going to listen to the first dialogue.
Unit 2. Listening focus. Activity 2. 1. I really related to the ideas in the book. I found it quite reassuring. Before I read this, I just thought I was weird because I didn't enjoy meeting new people or going to parties. I didn't realise I was an introvert and that there was actually absolutely nothing wrong with that at all.
Of course there isn't. In fact, I actually prefer introverts to extroverts. Extroverts are so attention-seeking and are only really interested in themselves. Introverts are much nicer people. Reading this book confirmed that for me.
The ideas were great, but sometimes I found reading it a bit of a slog, especially all those long descriptions of studies on the brain and how that accounts for the way we behave. I found it all a bit boring, to be honest. A quick summary would have been enough. And anyway, some of the results seem to come to opposite conclusions.
Yeah, I'm always quite sceptical about that kind of thing. Most of those case studies are probably unreliable, so not worth devoting so many pages to them. It's a pity because she's good at making complicated scientific information quite accessible, which is a real achievement.
2.
Yeah, all right. This is the first part, okay? So how did the book make the man feel? Okay, unsure what makes him an introvert, positive about his personality, or relieved that his behavior is normal.
A.
It's not A.
C.
It is C.
B.
C. The guy was, sometimes complicated, but he realized that he was not. I think he said something like, there was not any problem with that, he says. He says at the end of the first part, he says, I didn't realize I was an introvert and that there was actually absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. Yeah. Okay, what about number 2? The speakers agree that the book, A, contained too much detailed research, was written in an academic style, or presented an unbalanced argument. What would you say? We're listening for the first time, so it's not easy to get it, okay? Not yet? Okay, let's see if we can listen to it again, all right?
I'm not saying. Unit 2.
Listen
Listening
again.
focus. Activity 2. 1.
I really related to the ideas in the book. I found it quite reassuring. Before I read this, I just thought I was weird because I didn't enjoy meeting new people or going to parties. I didn't realise I was an introvert and that there was actually absolutely nothing wrong with that at all.
Of course there isn't. In fact, I actually prefer introverts to extroverts. Extroverts are so attention-seeking and are only really interested in themselves. Introverts are much nicer people. Reading this book confirmed that for me.
The ideas were great, but sometimes I found reading it a bit of a slog, especially all those long descriptions of studies on the brain and how that accounts for the way we behave. I found it all a bit boring, to be honest. A quick summary would have been enough. And anyway, some of the results seem to come to opposite conclusions.
Yeah, I'm always quite sceptical about that kind of thing. Most of those case studies are probably unreliable, so not worth devoting so many pages to them. It's a pity because she's good at making complicated scientific information quite accessible, which is a real achievement.
2.
Okay, could you get the idea of the second part? The speakers agree that the book contained too much detailed research, was written in an academic style, presented an unbalanced argument.
A.
Yes, contained too much detailed research, right? Even they found it a little bit boring, and then when they said that they talked too much about the brain, it was very specific information, all right? Now, if we go to extract 2 now, Ricardo, read that. You hear?
Yes.
Extract.
Sorry, the speakers were not working, but I fixed it.
Yeah. Okay.
Extract 2.
Yeah.
Okay. You hear two friends discussing online friendships.
Okay, that is the topic. Discussing online friendships. All right.
Yes.
Continue.
What do the speakers agree about the way people use social networking sites? A. Too much personal information is provided. B. People aren't honest enough. C. There is very little privacy.
All right, wait. Let's listen to that part first. I think it is the first part, okay? Listen. Oh, again. Se queda pegado.
Mm.
Es el... Cuando se hace más de una vez, se queda pegado. Mira. Y hay que salir. Okay, let's see. Wait. Let's see if now wants to work. No, ya con eso me dice, yeah, okay. Anyway, you have the listening in there. We're going to go back then. And then you have also the audio script. So you can listen and read. Okay, so as to follow this part. We're going to go back later. Maybe then it's going to be like normal, all right? So
Okay.
let's see. Yeah, because in this part we have to answer all this, right? But now we are going to jump into next page. Okay, so go to next page and let's see, this is page number 19, okay? In your book, number 19. In here, we're going to review something that you probably know, which is the use of the definite, indefinite, or zero articles, all right? But first, we're going to read a paragraph of an article and choose the best summary. Okay, the best conversations take place in groups. It requires effort to have a good conversation. Okay, what do you think about those two sentences? Do you agree with the fact that the best conversations take place in groups or takes place in two, for example? What do you think? Melissa, what do you prefer? When do you think you have the best conversations? With a group of people or only with one friend?
For me, at least, only with one friend.
One friend. Why?
Because I have my best friend and we really complement each other. So we have the best conversations.
All right. What about you, Ricardo? What do you think?
Yes, I prefer the one-on-one conversation.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Because the conversation is more fluent, maybe, and when you are talking in group, maybe people tend to change the topic or talk about things that are not of your interest.
Mm-hmm.
So the conversation
yeah, the conversation
disappears.
Disappears. It's too wide, and then you cannot concentrate on that. What do you usually do when you have like a conversation that is not from your interest? What do you do?
Usually I try to avoid topics that I don't like. So
let's suppose that you are in a group of people talking, and then the topic that they are discussing at the moment, that they're talking at the moment, is something that it's not from your interest. Let's see, for example, they're talking about, I don't know, let's see, TV programs, Chilean TV programs. Probably you don't like that. What do? You just listen? Do you try to change the conversation? Do you interfere with the other people's conversation? What do you do? Or you leave?
In that case, I prefer to keep my mouth shut and just listen to the conversation and maybe giving an opinion when I think I am able to do it.
Okay. Do you fly? Do you leave or you go away mentally when they are talking like that? Or do you put attention? Do you pay attention to the conversation?
Yes, I pay attention to the conversation, but it depends on the topic.
All right.
For example, there are some topics that I don't know anything about. For example, cars. I have some friends that are into the world of motors,
Yeah.
and I have no idea about that.
Yeah. Okay. Melissa, what about you? What do you do when you have a conversation that is not from your interest? For example, when you are with a friend, oh, it's okay. You can tell her, you know that I don't like this. Let's talk about other things. But when you are in a group and the group is discussing something that they like but you don't, what do you do in that situation?
I just stay quiet.
Stay quiet.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't you try to change the conversation, change the topic?
No, because if they are all talking about, I don't know, the Kardashians, and they seems like they are having a blast.
Yeah, but what about
Um,
you? You're not having fun.
yeah, but they are talking about that, so it's okay.
Okay. Don't you say for example, "Ay, come on, I don't like this. Why don't we talk about another thing?" No, you just wait. Wait
Yeah.
until the topic is changed. All right.
Yes.
And look at this. In here, you have a group of people talking, right? In the image. And read the title, please, Ricardo. How?
How to avoid competitive conversation.
Okay, let's go first into the competitiveness. First of all, are you competitive or not? You personally, Ricardo and
No.
Melissa. Melissa, you're not
Um,
competitive?
No,
Really?
really.
Yeah. Why do you say that you're not competitive?
Well, for example, if the person, I don't know, had a better grade, it's like, oh, okay, congratulations, and I have a lower grade. Okay, I have to study and keep studying. Or I don't know, in things in life, I don't like to compare with other persons.
You don't like with other people, better, not persons.
People.
And don't you like to be the first one, to be the winner?
Oh, of course. I think everyone likes to be the winner, but if I don't, it's not like I don't feel like my world's ending or stressed about it.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Ricardo?
no, I'm not competitive, but depending on the field.
Yeah.
When it comes to video games or sports, yeah, I'm competitive and I want to win every time.
Yeah.
But I know that some people are competitive in school or university, but I have no real interest to prove that I'm better to the rest of them.
Yeah. Better than the
Yeah,
rest.
better than the rest of them.
All right. Okay. And what do you think about competitiveness? Like the noun, competitiveness. Is it good? Is it bad? What do you think?
Competitiveness. How do you translate that into Spanish?
Competitive, competitividad,
Competitividad.
competitividad, competitiveness in English. What do you think about competitiveness? Because some people, like to be the first ones, like to compete, like to win, like to, so it's their option. But some others don't like that. So what do you think about this attitude of competing? Do you think that it's good? It's bad? What is your opinion?
Some people have the necessity to compete to keep their self-esteem high,
Yeah.
and they have a low self-esteem, so competing is the only way that they have to prove that they are worthy.
Okay. And what about you, Melissa? What do you think? Is it good or is it bad to be competitive?
I think it's bad because competitive people are always trying to be the best in everything, just for the fact that they want to be better than others.
Okay. Don't you think that sometimes it's good to compete in the sense that the more you compete, the better you become sometimes? For example, in your area of studies, for example, or people who like to compete do a lot of training, do a lot of, if you are a sportman, they have to compete, right?
Yeah.
But in our area, I mean, in education, in English, it's not the same competition, but if you want to be better, sometimes it's good to be competitive or not. Don't you think that? Because if you want, let's suppose that you want to get the best grade in the class. What do you do to be the best in the class? You study. You study more and more and more.
Study more.
Huh?
Yeah, but it's not appealing to grades in the course.
what for example, what things do you see in competitiveness? What is bad about it? The good thing is that you study a lot, you train a lot, you try to improve all the time, etc. Okay, but now what is negative about this?
The envy, maybe.
Why?
Competitive people most of the time are how do you say that they show envy?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
When other people get better grades or achievements.
Yeah, they are envy, right?
Yeah.
They're envy. Yeah, that could be one. Yeah, that is negative. Yes, of course.
Yes, because they always want to be the best, the first ones.
Yeah. So they do not accept the triumph of another person.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Any other thing which is negative, Melissa? Can you see about competitiveness or being very competitive? Can I help you with that? For example, I think that people get stressed, especially in education, especially in studies. When you want to be the first all the time, you study and you study and you study. Probably you don't rest, you don't relax, and that can cause you, some sickness, some problems with your mind. Okay, and usually those people get stressed. Okay, and I think that is pretty bad, because usually those people fall into depression because they feel that if they don't get what they want, they are losers, right? And then they get sick for that. It's very easy. Do you have any friend or classmate who has depression due to one of these things?
Depression?
Yeah.
Because of competitive?
Yeah, competition. For example, I'm going to tell you something about our own experience. You know Miss Patty, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. When we were students, we were classmates. We were three in the group: Patty, Angelica, and me. We studied a lot. Okay, we studied a lot. We used to study a lot. Sometimes we stay all night studying. We had a very good relationship. But Patricia and me, you know, like we studied a lot, but we, in the end, controlled that. But our friend, Angelica, she was very competitive, not with us, but she was all the time, you know, trying to be better. And she was not satisfied with what she was doing. We finished our career. She was an excellent professional. She was an excellent teacher, but she was never satisfied. She was never satisfied. So in the end, she got into a very bad depression. Okay. She went into the hospital, and now she's retired, but like 10 years ago, she couldn't continue working because she started crying, you know, and it was terrible because Angelica was a very good friend of us. I even took her to the university when I was working at Valparaiso University, and I had to travel to the United States. She was, you know, subbing me as a. She was in. I took her to the university for her to teach because I consider her, probably for me, she was the best teacher that I ever seen. But she was never satisfied.
Mm.
So that is one person who never, never, she could never feel well with what she was doing. That happens a lot with people who you know, who are competitive. Okay, that is a problem. So probably you know people like that. So you have to control that. You can be competitive, but not, for example, leave your friends or leave things that are good for you. Okay, and so that is in relation to this. Now we're going to. I want to talk to you about the dialogue. Look what is in here. The title, competitive conversation. What do you understand by that, Melissa? What do you think it is? Competitive conversation.
Maybe that everyone wants to talk at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. I would say that we could say something like lead the conversation.
Okay.
The conversation, right?
Mhm.
So everybody wants to lead the conversation. So are you a competitive person or not in that aspect in the conversation?
No.
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 Why not? Why not, Melissa? Why do you say no? Why are you so sure?
Because I just follow what the others are talking about.
Yeah. All right. And what about you, Ricardo?
No.
Yeah. You accept other people's, you know, conversation. You don't try to lead. Yeah.
Yes, no, I accept, but we all have that one friend that turns the conversation into a monologue.
Yeah. Right.
I'm thinking of someone
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. And what do you do with that guy? Do you don't you tell him, hey, come on, you're talking too much, or?
No, I just listen to her, but sometimes when I want to say something, I just interrupt her and yeah, so nice.
Yeah. So it's a she. We know that it's a she.
Yeah,
Right.
a
Okay.
girl.
Yeah. So, well, I would say that um, having a conversation is like an art. Okay. You have to be able to have good conversations and to cooperate with the conversation. You have to cooperate with the conversation, not try to lead the conversation. And I think that there were some programs on TV some time ago. It was called Tertulia. And it was a program in which old men, they were all of them, most of them were old people, and they had conversations about everything. Cinema, you know, sports, politics, etc. But they had a conversation and they all cooperate with the conversation, okay? And they never discussed. They had the conversation, they cooperate with the others, they ask questions, but it was a tertulia. A tertulia in Spanish is something which some people talk in good terms, yeah? And I like that. And they were called contertulios. The people who participated on those types of conversations were called in Spanish contertulios, all right? A contertulio is a person that is able to talk without arguing hard and trying to cooperate with that. Okay, now in here, we have to, I want you to read this, and then you have an option with the articles, okay? What are the articles? Do you remember? What is a definite article in English? What is the definite article in English?
The.
The.
Yeah.
So in English, we have one for all the definite articles that we have in Spanish. Because in Spanish, we have, what are the articles in Spanish?
El, las, los.
El, la, los, y las.
Las.
Right. And what is the indefinite article in English?
A or an.
Or an, all right. They are all for the indefinite article. What are the indefinite articles in Spanish?
Unas, unos.
Uno, una first. That is the singular one.
Uno, una.
Uno, una. Unos, unas. The plural,
Unos,
which in English is, what is the plural in English for the indefinite article? A and are singular.
Yeah.
And what is the indefinite article but plural? How do you say unos? Unas in English.
No article.
No.
No.
Some.
Some. Well.
Right. Some students. Unos estudiantes, unas estudiantes, right? So some. Now, and no article. Well, now you have to read this and then you have the option. For example, it starts saying good conversation with friends. You have the idea there. You can say with the friends or with friends. What is the right one in there? Melissa is gone. Do you have the article in there or no article?
Good conversation with friends. Zero article.
Yeah, no article in there. So yeah. Not only brings, continue reading, please, Ricardo.
Okay. Not only brings happiness and enjoyment,
Right.
It fulfills a special need. Human beings have wherever they live in the world.
Yeah. All right. So in the
The
first
world.
paragraph, you have no article in number 1, no article in number 2, no article in number 3, the in number 4, right? Okay, continue reading.
What I'll always remember about the night I met my wife is the wonderful conversation we had and how we connected instantly.
All right.
But
So
it can be.
number 5 is the night.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
But it can't be a solely individual endeavor.
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 Yes.
Endeavor. It has to be a group effort. Each individual has to sacrifice a little for the benefit of the group as a whole, and ultimately to increase the pleasure each individual receives. Receives. Sorry. Yeah, receives.
Okay. Melissa, Are you there? Melissa?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, we're reading the article in here. Up to now, Ricardo has been very well, has been very good because he has chose the right options in all the possibilities. Good conversation with friends, no article in there, not only brings happiness, no article, and enjoyment. It fulfills a special need. Human beings, no article, have whatever they live in the world. The world takes the article. What I always remember about the night I met my wife is the wonderful conversation we had and how we connected instantly. It can be a slightly individual endeavor. It has to be a group effort. Each individual has to sacrifice a little for the benefit of the group as a whole, and ultimately to increase the pleasure each individual receives. We're there. Okay, can you go on reading, Melissa, and choose the right option?
Okay, I'm gonna try. It's like singing in a choir.
Choir. Pronunciation?
Choir.
Choir.
Choir. Where the harmony.
Listen to
Choir.
me. Choir.
Choir.
That's right.
Where the harmony and rhythm of a song depends on each individual to keep it going. One person who keeps singing a sour note can ruin it forever, for everyone. That's why it is so important that the conversations are cooperative instead of competitive.
Yeah, in the last one, number 10, no article in there.
Okay.
That's why it's so important that conversations are cooperative instead of competitive, right? As I said before, when you want to talk with someone or in a group, you have to cooperate, not lead the conversation, right? Not compete in order to be the only one who talks, right? And that's why we were talking before that sometimes some people are, in a conversation and they are thinking, they are not listening. They are thinking what they are going to say later, okay? And they are not paying attention to the conversation. So it's, so, I mean, you can talk, but I'm not listening to you. I'm just thinking what I'm going to say in the future or later, all right? So that is not very good. Okay, so in this article, it's very good in the sense that it's telling you how to talk. What is the best way? Yeah, it says there are certain sentences here which are important. It has to be a group effort. Each individual has to sacrifice a little for the benefit of the group as a whole, and ultimately to increase the pleasure each individual receives. It's like singing in a choir. What is the idea when you sing in a choir? Ricardo, what is the difference between singing in a choir and singing alone?
When you sing in a choir, all of the members sing simultaneously,
right.
And there are no, I don't know, oh, sorry, I lost the thread.
Yeah, but okay, you were right. In a choir, all singers are singing simultaneously, right? Nobody is leading. Nobody's a lead singer, so
Yeah.
they have to use the harmony. They have to cooperate for the group to sound fine or right. Okay, people that sings high, people that sings low. So you have to make an harmony in order to have something nice. Okay, so a conversation is like that in here. They are saying that. Okay, it's like singing in a choir where the harmony and rhythm of a song depends on each individual to keep it going. Okay, so the conversation has to flow. Yeah. So everybody has to participate. Okay, one person who keeps singing a sour note can ruin it for everyone. Yeah. That's why it is so important that conversations are cooperative instead of competitive. Okay. Yeah, I think that that's kind of the idea. Now, in the language tip here, read that language tip, please, Melissa. Some adjectives.
Some adjectives can be used as nouns to refer to all the people who have a particular characteristic. They are used with the definite article and are followed by a plural verb. The rich, the poor, the Swiss, the Chinese.
All right, so rich, poor, Swiss, and Chinese are adjectives. Yeah, but in this case, they are acting in a different way, right? Yeah. They can be used with a definite article to indicate, you know, that all have the same characteristics, right? For example, Chileans are nice people, right? The black, yes, you can use that in that way. So talking about all a group of people that have certain characteristics, similar characteristics. Okay, and now let's go into the part of the grammar. Find one or more examples of each rule in the paragraph in activity 1. We use the definite article the before all nouns. Yeah, that is one characteristic. Now, except in these cases in which you use it before an adjective, right? But in general, we use the article the before all nouns. Now, read when, Ricardo. A, B, and C. Are you following? Number 3.
Yes, fine.
Okay.
One.
We use the definite article the before all nouns. A.
Yeah.
Yeah, so read that.
Ah, I was looking for the example, sorry.
No.
A, when something has already been mentioned.
Yeah.
B, when only one of something exists. C, when referring to something or someone specific.
All right. Okay. That is when we use the article. Yeah. When we have mentioned something before, and then the second time you use the article. Yeah. For example, families in Chile are very close. For example, in the family, you can do whatever. See, you have already mentioned family, so now second time you can use the article. When something is one, for example, can you give me an example?
The world.
The world in this case,
Yeah.
right? The moon.
World, the moon.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's, yeah. And when referring to something or someone specific, yeah. For example, you can say school in Chile is weak. In order to make just an example, schools in Chile are weak, but the school where I studied was really good. In that case, I am referring at a specific school, so I use the article because I know about what I am talking about, right? Okay, number 2 and number 3. Read that, please, Melissa. Number 2 and number 3. We use
the indefinite article am before singular countable nouns when referring to something or someone general or non-specific. We use zero article before plural and uncountable nouns when talking about something in general when referring to something abstract or general.
Yeah. Abstract, for example, happiness, right? But if you want to make it particular, you can also use the article. The happiness, the happiness that she showed, you are talking about something particular. But in general, when you're talking about feelings or things like that, love, for example, you don't say the love, you say love, happiness, abstract things, all right? In those cases, you don't have to use the article. In other things that you don't have to use the article is, for example, food or, meals of the day. You don't say the breakfast. The breakfast is good. Lunch, yeah? Lunch, dinner, breakfast, tea. Never use an article in there. And there are some others in which you don't have to use an article. But there are some others in which you have to use an article. For example, when you talk about some group of islands, for example, yeah, the British Isles, yeah, I don't know, the States, the United States of America, a group of islands or states. Okay, number 4, you will have to do it as homework. Number 4, in there you have to complete with the article, right? Or could be definite or indefinite or 0 article. That is going to be for homework, right? Now, to finish, let's go back, if we can listen again to the, but first I wanted to show you something that we were talking about, being an extrovert or an introvert. I have a video here, but I forgot to show it to you. But now I'm going to try to find it out, okay? Wait a minute, please. Where I find it. Wait a minute. There. Let's see if I can open it. There we go. Wait a minute. Here you have a video about, are you an introvert or extrovert? This exercise will help you find out, okay? Let's listen.
Imagine that you are going to a party and you're truly enjoying this party. You are surrounded by people whose company you truly like. At the end of about 2 hours, if you're an extrovert, it's as if you have an internal battery that has been getting charged up that whole time, and so now you're looking for the after party. But if you're an introvert, it doesn't matter how good a time you've been having, and it doesn't matter how socially skilled you might be. At the end of the 2 hours, your internal battery is probably draining, and so you're starting to wish that you were home in your pajamas. Introverts and extroverts have different nervous systems. So introverts have nervous systems that react more to stimulation. We feel at our most alive and calm and switched on when things are a little bit calmer because there's less stimulation coming at us. For extroverts, you react less to stimulation, your nervous systems react less. And that means that you tend to feel at your best when there's more happening. And for you, the liability is that when there's not very much going on, you'll start to feel kind of bored and sluggish, and you'll start to check out.
All right, very simple. That way, yeah, you know when you are an introvert or an extrovert. Yeah, extroverts like to be surrounded by people. They like to talk. They like to share things, while the introverts prefer to be alone, prefer to be by themselves, you know, on their own. Okay, so that's something different. I'm going to try to put the audio complete. Do you have the? I sent you page 122. This one, 122 with the audio script. It's in there, just in there, under the tracks. Can you open it to check to follow the listening? Okay, are you there? Let me know.
Yes.
You're ready. Ready? Okay, so let's see now if it works.
Unit 2.
We're going to
Listening
listen
focus.
to it all.
Activity 2. 1.
I really related to the ideas in the book. I found it quite reassuring. Before I read this, I just thought I was weird because I didn't enjoy meeting new people or going to parties. I didn't realise I was an introvert and that there was actually absolutely nothing wrong with that at all.
Of course there isn't. In fact, I actually prefer introverts to extroverts. Extroverts are so attention-seeking and are only really interested in themselves. Introverts are much nicer people. Reading this book confirmed that for me.
The ideas were great, but sometimes I found reading it a bit of a slog, especially all those long descriptions of studies on the brain and how that accounts for the way we behave. I found it all a bit boring, to be honest. A quick summary would have been enough. And anyway, some of the results seemed to come to opposite conclusions.
Yeah, I'm always quite sceptical about that kind of thing. Most of those case studies are probably unreliable, so not worth devoting so many pages to them. It's a pity because she's good at making complicated scientific information quite accessible, which is a real achievement.
2.
I'm not saying people shouldn't use social networking sites. It's just the online relationships with casual acquaintances I have a problem with. I mean, everyone presents a certain cultivated image of themselves online, which isn't always totally accurate. You know, the way people might admit to having a bad day in private, even if they'd never do so publicly online.
Exactly. And you can't blame them for that. I wouldn't dream of mentioning any of my insecurities online. The problem is that if all you see of someone is endless photos on Facebook of parties and exciting holidays, it can be a bit annoying. It's the same as reading about celebrity lifestyles. All you see is a carefully edited version of their lives, which gives a totally false picture.
Absolutely. What gets me is people who insist on going on and on about their perfect life when they know you're going through a bad time.
Well, I suppose no one has to read anything they find boring or upsetting.
But we just can't resist. Everyone, including me, is so obsessed about staying in contact. I know I'd hate not to know what people are up to more than I hate all their shameless self-promotion.
3.
I decided to see what it would be like to stay offline for a month with no internet access at all, because I thought I was becoming too dependent on the internet.
Yeah, that was my motivation too. And how did you feel after the first week?
Well, I was finding it easier to distract myself with other activities, like phoning older relatives and reading. The problem was not that I was waiting to hear from anyone in particular, rather the feeling of being connected and available to the world. It was weird, almost like being invisible. I expect you'd get used to it eventually, though, but I think it's something everyone should consider trying.
Yes. I'd recommend it because it made me realise how easy it is to waste time doing basically nothing. So now I limit my internet time to an hour each day. I've had to learn to be strict with myself because I do really enjoy chatting online. It's interesting because I've still managed to maintain the online relationships I care about without having to feel I need to be available to chat 24/7.
Okay. So as homework, you have to choose the options that you have in the book. I don't know where I have it. Okay, here. See, in this part, we did only the first part. Number 1, the extract 1, we chose letter C for the man and letter A for the woman. So you have to listen and follow the reading and answer the right option for number 3, number 4, 5, and 6. Okay? So that is for homework. Thursday. Okay, are you still, do you still want to get together on Thursday? What do you think? Because
Yes.
we have to be careful, because it seems that probably there might be certain, I don't know if it is going to happen or not, but they are saying that there might be some strikes in the future. But now with the with what happened to the government, they will have to pay the third withdrawal of money, 10%. Well, that is going to slow down the problems, the social problems. But anyway, we have to be prepared. So this week we were supposed to have Tuesday and Thursday. And Thursday we were going to start earlier at this time, not at 8 o'clock, so as to finish at 8. Okay, and I'm going to upload anyway this class. And on Thursday, we are going to continue, because we have to try to continue and recover a little bit of the things, okay? I'm going to upload also some materials with the articles, okay, from Murphy, for you to review that, because I know that you know that, but it's good to have more possibilities to exercise, okay? And I remember that you had to do an essay, to write an essay, and you were supposed to give it today, but as we were on a break, let's leave it for next Tuesday. And next, if you have it ready before, you can send it to me to correct it. Okay?
Okay.
So, I will wait until next Tuesday, because this week you're supposed not to have any activity, academic activity. So the only thing that I want now is to have probably more conversation, the possibility to talk, and then for you to work a little bit more in class. Okay, so let's stop here. So on Thursday we're going to have another class. We're going to continue, but I'm not going to go too fast. All right, I'm going to go slow. Okay, so that will be all for today. See you on Thursday.
Okay.
See you.
See you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye-bye. See you then.